my TV there just to see how long you can
Wow, is that close? Good morning. Uh, Welcome to the November 14th edition of the Blinn College District Board meeting. Good to see everyone here. We're going to go ahead and get the meeting started. The Texas Government Code permits this Board of Trustees to meet in a closed executive session for the following reasons, among others: to consult with the college district's attorneys on matters deemed privileged by the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct or Government Code 551.071, to deliberate regarding real property under 551.072, a prospective gift under 551.073, certain personnel matters under 551.074, security devices or security audits under 551.076, and economic development negotiations under 551.087. If the board meets in a closed session, we will announce the particular section under which we will be doing so prior to initiating the closed portion of the meeting. Today, I've got a couple of our ag students with us today. So pleased to have them. Cale Dowies is a freshman coming to Blinn from the small town of Elton, Louisiana. In high school, he played football, was an active FFA member, and exhibited livestock on the state level. Cale plans to pursue a degree in agribusiness in hopes of continuing the family farm with his brother upon graduating college. He is honored to be a member of the Blinn livestock judging team and will always cherish the life lessons and relationships built along the way. We've also got Grayson Oliver. Grayson is a freshman coming to Blinn from Sealy, Texas. In high school, he was an active FFA member and earned a spot to compete at the state level in both the livestock judging and chapter conducting events. Grayson plans to major in agriculture education to become an ag teacher, as he hopes to spread his knowledge and passion as his parents have done before him. He is proud to be a member of the Blinn livestock judging team and hopes to gain more experience to teach his own students one day. These young men are going to give us our invocation and our pledge.
Please assume an attitude of prayer. Heavenly Father, we come before you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to encourage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace, Lord, as we make decisions that may affect students, faculty, staff, alumni, and friends of Blinn College. And continue to remind us that all we do here today, all that is accomplished, is for the pursuit of truth, for greater glory of you, and for the service of humanity. We ask this through your holy name, O Lord. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thanks, guys, and continued good luck on the judging team. Okay, does not look like anyone signed up for public comment today, so we will move right into Section 4, the report section. First report is Chancellor's Administration Report. Dr. Hensley.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Chair Colkhorst. Well, I have some wonderful news to start off with, trustees. It's my pleasure to share that for the fourth consecutive year, Blinn has been awarded the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. This recognition indicates that Blinn's 2022 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report has been judged by an impartial panel to demonstrate a constructive, quote, spirit of full disclosure to clearly communicate its financial information to the public. This is the highest form, trustees, of recognition available in governmental accounting and financial reporting. And I would particularly like to congratulate and thank Dr. Clint Burton and his business and finance staff for their outstanding work. Won't you join me in applause and have you all stand up? Please stand. Let's see who you are. Chris and Clint. There you go. Very nice. Congratulations. You make us proud. Well, speaking of proud, trustees, I'm pleased to report that Coach Terry Gamble and his 11th ranked Blinn College volleyball team have been selected to participate in the national tournament in Hutchinson, Kansas. The team left at 4 a.m. yesterday morning, and they will play their first game tomorrow at 10 a.m. against Weatherford College. I'm going to travel to Hutchinson after today's meeting to support the team as we seek our 6th national championship in our program's history. Quite wonderful. All right, and now to facilities. I'd like to share a brief update regarding our current construction projects. On College Avenue, as you can see, work on the south side of the street is near completion and the new retaining walls are complete. The new curbs and gutters have been poured and additional flat work will be poured shortly. At the end of this semester, the contractor will transition to the other side and do the north side of the street. Trustees, this project remains scheduled for completion next spring, which would be about April of 2024. And at the Bryan Campus Administration Building, earthwork is well underway, and the pier drilling is scheduled to begin on November the 20th. The college is working with Optium, formerly Suddenlink Communications, to relocate our overhead communication line, which would come into conflict with the contractor's pier drilling reel. This project is scheduled continually for February 2025. We are on schedule and on budget at this point in time, trustees. All right, let's transition to some wonderful faculty and staff who are here today. Trustees, regarding apprenticeships, we wanted to share some information with you this morning regarding Blinn's Division of Applied Technology, Workforce and Economic Development, and the apprenticeship opportunities they provide for students. In just a moment, I'd like to invite Jay Anderson, Vice Chancellor for Applied Sciences, Workforce and Economic Development, to share some information regarding Blinn's apprenticeship programs, how they work, and how we have aligned our apprenticeship programs with our adult education and literacy and with our integrated education and training. Vice Chancellor Anderson, I know if you would come forward, and I know you have some people with you that you would like to introduce as you do your presentation this morning. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely, thank you. Chair Colcourse, trustees, Dr. Hensley, thank you for the opportunity to present on apprenticeships today. I would like to introduce our new Dean of Applied Technology, Workforce, Economic Development, Mr. Marshall Rich. Also joining us today is our Assistant Dean for Applied Technology, Workforce, Economic Development, Mr. Cody Stelter. And with that, again, thank you for the opportunity to provide an executive summary on apprenticeships. Before I do start, it's in the spirit of the week, and it is National Apprenticeship Week. So the timing is on par with excellence for this presentation. What it means to have National Apprenticeship Week, it gives organizations an opportunity to showcase the initiatives and efforts that the organization is putting forth as it relates to apprenticeships. So it's a wonderful opportunity for us to showcase what Blinn College District is doing as it relates to apprenticeships. Also, I'd like to set a backdrop because apprenticeships, as you will see, is so expansive that we took a proactive approach to invite the Department of Labor, our Department of Labor representative, Mr. James Carnes. And Mr. James Carnes came in from Austin and spent an entire day with each one of our deans, not a day with each dean, but an entire day with segments as it relates to areas within their academic discipline and how it might bridge into an apprenticeship. So all of our deans have actually met with the Department of Labor representative so we can continue to look at apprenticeships through that proactive and innovative lens. So with that, again, thank you for the opportunity to present today the executive summary. We have a temporary blank screen there. Thank you. Department of Labor apprenticeships. Essentially, apprenticeships, it's a wonderful mechanism for business and industry to have a pipeline of individuals that are talented and have learned the organization from within. Essentially, the apprenticeships are industry-driven, high-quality career pathways where employers can develop and prepare their future workforce. This is really nice because one of the main challenges facing business and industry within the United States is the talent acquisition pipeline, especially as it relates to the technical education piece and individuals with technical skill sets. As we move through the presentation, we'll see that oftentimes we think of apprenticeships in context of specific to plumber, carpenter, or heating, ventilation, air conditioning technician, but one of the traditional trades. But we're going to explore and see the different occupations that exist within Department of Labor registered apprenticeships. There's a wide range of occupations, including traditional fields like the construction, as we mentioned, high growth, non-traditional fields that are incubating within the healthcare systems, information technology, computer science, and there essentially is over 1,000 occupational opportunities within apprenticeships for registered apprenticeship. What makes apprenticeships attractive? Two things, well, many more than two things, but two high-profile elements of apprenticeships: results and retention. The results, we have within business and industry a pipeline of the skilled employees who are able to assume many different roles within the organization, because essentially when they're going through the apprenticeship, they have what's called RTI, and we're going to spend a little time on RTI. The RTI is related training and instruction. In addition to that, we have the OJT, which is on-the-job training. So individuals that are progressing through their apprenticeships have a tremendous amount of both RTI and OJT, so they really learn the business from the ground floor up. And this is where these employees become so valuable, because they have so many experiences within the industry that they're apprenticing in. There's a very strong matching of employee skills and character with employer needs and organizational culture, along with the development of future managers. Oftentimes, these apprentices end up in management or leadership roles because they have such a solid foundation within the workings of the organization and the technology within the organization that they've been trained on with the OJT. And then the RTI, the related training instruction, is very specific and focused on the assets and the resources that they'll be using within their apprenticeship and within that organization. The retention piece is absolutely wonderful. 90% of apprentices continue employment after completing an apprenticeship. Now, this really replies to that talent acquisition pipeline. Oftentimes, organizations have this turnover, and that turnover costs organizations because of loss of organizational knowledge, as well as loss of that technical expertise and technical knowledge. Any questions at this point? I do have some time reserved at the end for questions as well. On-the-job training, the skill enhancement program that comprises both technical instruction, theoretical instruction, and this is that RTI, the related training instruction, combined with the OJT, which is the second bullet here. These two elements of apprenticeship combined with that understanding of the workings within the organization make them very strong employees. Here again, because they're learning the organization from the ground up and then throughout. Training can last between 6 months to 4 years, depending on the apprenticeship. Apprenticeships have a time-weighted equivalency to complete. Apprenticeships also have what is known as a competency checkoff by a subject matter expert, and they have the competency that they can demonstrate to the subject matter expert within the industry. So the industry is assured that when the individual completes their apprenticeship as a registered apprentice, they have the skill sets that are needed within that organization. Some of the traditional apprenticeships, you'll have that 144 hours per year of RTI, the related training and instruction, and you'll also have roughly 2,000 hours of OJT per year, so that's the 8,000 hours and the 576 hours of the related training and instruction. Very, very focused on what the occupation is going to be. Blinn College Pre-Apprenticeship. We have a partnership with the Workforce Solutions, Brazos Valley, AEL, and AEL would be the Adult Educational Literacy, the Electrical Pre-Apprenticeship. Now, we're still going through contract negotiations on what the final metrics are going to look like, but But at this time, currently, we're looking at running roughly 200 individuals through a pre-apprenticeship program as it relates to electrical. We currently have 12 individuals enrolled in the pre-apprenticeship program. And then with final contract negotiation, we're looking at roughly placing 30 apprentices within the Blinn College District. And that would be specific to the electrical side of the apprenticeship. So these individuals, once completing the pre-apprenticeship, find a organization that would like to sponsor them with a registered apprenticeship. They would go through, in this case, as a electrician, they would go through the 8,000 hours of on-the-job training, and they would go through the 576 hours of related training instruction. And that is in conjunction with the organization, the registration, outcomes and objectives that have been signed with the Department of Labor, and that would drive what the OJT requirements are going to be, as well as the RTI. Apprenticeships past to current. In the past, we've had individuals that we provide the RTI, related training instruction, in electrical, mechatronics. Here again, the electrical is both on the residential and the industrial side. Mechatronics. Mechatronics, we oftentimes hear a lot about mechatronics. It seems to be an advanced manufacturing catchphrase right now. Ultimately, what mechatronics is it's the bringing together of two worlds, the electromechanical technologies, and then automating those systems. We have process operator. Process operators find employment in major companies, and essentially what a process operator does is monitor and evaluate continuous and batch processes, and where a offset would be needed to remain within the parameters of quality control, process operators are a necessity for that operation. And then we have the instrumentation technician. The instrumentation technician would be the individual who installs instruments within the manufacturing system to help drive the quality, as well as keep processes within the parameters of quality control. Apprenticeship partners, Daily Electric, Igloo, BASF, and we have others that are in conversation and looking at apprenticeships at this time. And with that, that concludes the executive summary for apprenticeships, and I stand for any questions.
I do have a question.
Yes.
So the apprenticeship partnerships, is it mainly employers reaching out to Blinn, or is it reciprocal? We reach out to employers as well?
That's a very good question, trustee. In fact, it's both. We are knocking on doors and in daily conversations, asking if individuals would like to apprentice. And then we also have companies reaching out to us and saying, hey, we're interested in an apprenticeship. Can you help us deliver the RTI, the related training and instruction? They've got the facility to deliver the OJT, on-job training. There comes a point where we engage the Department of Labor, and then it's that three-way agreement where the organization will register the individuals that they are sponsoring with the Department of Labor, and then we would be the RTI provider, the related training and instruction provider.
Because that's what I was wondering, how do we get students too? But it sounds like some of the employers are providing those.
Yes, we do get phone calls from employers seeking the partnership, and then certainly as we can, we promote apprenticeships and let folks know that we can provide the RTI.
I love it.
Wonderful, thank you. So do I. Any other questions, trustees?
So what, let's say for a high school student, junior, senior in high school, what are we doing to reach out to those individuals to try to direct them into a program like this with, you know, perhaps a local electrical firm or whatever the case may be? I mean, what's our process? I mean, or how, because I can see this being incredibly important, but I would think that it's a lot of work, and we're going to have to do some work ourselves to make it go.
There's always work to be done in terms of promotion, and we do promote the apprenticeships to high schools through our partnerships with the Brazos Valley Workforce Solutions. We have career fairs where we promote the apprenticeships, and certainly any prospective student relations, we promote apprenticeships as we can. So ultimately, we are in the media. Mr. Bray has posted on social media also as it relates to apprenticeship opportunities. We try and engage all of our constituents in terms of awareness on apprenticeships and promote those apprenticeships.
Do we have anyone specific that we work with Brenham Independent School District about a program like this?
I think it would be, I'm going to defer to Mr. Stelter on that. Mr. Stelter, have we sent a message to any specific individual? I know we talked to Brenham school districts in general about apprenticeships. Is there a specific individual that we send that information to?
Well, at this time, Travis Gonzalez is their, at this time in Brenham ISD, Travis Gonzalez is their, I'd say, CTE director at this point in time. And we also had Dr. Chaplin serve on our advisory committee at the Hody Center. And so information can be relayed at that point in time about programs when we do updates at those meetings to offer those, but the biggest, I would say the biggest thing is just a constant communication with those teachers that are in the classrooms to have that pipeline to let them know what programs are available and to have that open conversation.
Have we been successful? Have we had any student yet that has transitioned into potentially looking at an apprenticeship program?
No, sir, not at this time. Not at Brenham ISD specifically. I haven't seen anyone that's come through at this time on the apprenticeship portion of that, no, sir.
Any other questions, guys? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Jay.
Thank
And
you.
Marshall, congratulations again for your new position. We're so proud of you and know that you're going to do a wonderful job. Trustees and those in the audience and those in the viewing audience and the listening audience, this is November. We're getting ready to have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday, and I would particularly like to recognize all the wonderful faculty and staff that we have at Blinn who do so much to make this institution what it is, and I wish you all a very blessed, healthy, warm, and wonderful holiday with lots of turkey and pie and whipped cream. And sometime in January, we'll start our Weight Watchers program. But until then, I want you to enjoy it and know how grateful we are at Blinn to have you as a part of our family. And trustees, thank you to you for your leadership during this holiday season. Particularly want to note that. And with that, Chair Colkhorst, I end my report for today. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Hensley. We will now move into item B on the report section, presentation of the financial statement package for the period ended October 31st, 2023. Dr. Burton.
Good morning, Chancellor Hensley and the Board of Trustees. Want to go over our October financial results. Keep in mind, October is 17% of the fiscal year. The topics that we'll cover today are unrestricted cash and cash equivalents, revenues, expenditures, financial results, and observations. First, starting off with unrestricted cash and cash equivalents. As you've seen this pie chart before, there's three main sections. The first one is unrestricted reserve. Then there is funding for current projects that we have encumbered. And then there's funding available for new projects. A breakdown of that 130 million is 59 million is for unrestricted for the operations of the college if necessary. It includes 15 million in deferred maintenance. We then have 35 million that we have set aside. Most of that is for the Bryan campus administration building construction. And then we have 35 million available for new projects. Looking at the cash sources that we brought in for the month, financial aid brought in about $5,000. Payments from students brought in about $6.8 million. We issued refunds of $756,000 to give a total of cash from students of $6 million. Cash received from other sources, state appropriations gave us $16 million. Now this is one half of our award for the year. Interest is $437,000, which is substantially above what we budgeted. Interest rates are pretty good right now. Then we've also received money from grants and contracts, and then property tax for a total of $17.4 million. Our expenditures, there's the payroll expenditure, the accounts payable, a little bit for renovations. But this month we made a debt payment on our bonds, Keep in mind that we have paid off one bond, so this is less than what it would normally be over prior years. The Bug Book program, we paid out $3.1 million, and what that is that when the students enroll, that goes into a payable, and then as soon as it's cleared and reviewed, it is then paid to Barnes & Noble's Higher Ed. In Servitas, we paid a minor amount of $36,000 for a total of $19 million coming out. So looking at the totals of the last three graphs, the college has an increase of cash of $4.2 million. We maintained $247,000 in a local bank and then invested in pools for $4 million. Moving on to our next source, revenues. State appropriations are above what we had last year. State tuition and fees are above where we were last year. Auxiliary enterprises are above, and interest is above. The other is we haven't received a payment from Servitas yet in work study. That's just a matter of a timing difference. It will be very close once those payments are received. Looking through revenue comparison by source, now keep in mind, these are expenses as a percentage of revenues. So as our state appropriation and other revenues go up, other segments as a percentage will go down. So as you can see, our state appropriations has increased as a percentage, but yet our tuition and fees have decreased as a percentage. But that's as a percentage of our total revenues. Going through each item, our state appropriations are budgeted at $26 million. Remember, we're at 17% of the year, and we've received 20% of our appropriation using the accrual method. Tuition and fees, again, we're at the 17% mark, but we have received 23% of our tuition and fees above the budget amount. So we're at 23% for the year above what we anticipate being 17%. Looking at our sources of tuition revenue, out of district is substantially above any other source, and it's coming back to pre-COVID numbers. Okay. Fee revenue, as you can see, we have three different main fees, and again, our general fee is above pre-COVID numbers. Rolling along, the auxiliary and housing, with the $11 million has been budgeted for that area, and our total revenue is $2.4 million, so we're at 21% of that budget compared to 17% of where we are for the fiscal year. Auxiliary services, housing is occupancy rates are up, but keep in mind we have fewer occupancy that are Blinn owned because of the P3s. So while the rates are up, and you can see that occupancy that is increased in the P3s reflected in the food service, that is approaching pre-COVID levels. Expenditures. The college, when you add up all of our total expenditures, we are $700,000 above where we were in prior years, but that's a subject of variable cost. As we get more students, we're going to have more operating costs for things like adjunct, supplies, materials, and whatever is variable. Okay, so again, allocation of our revenue dollars. As you can see, the percentage per revenue of payroll expense has gone down. That's our biggest expense. But keep in mind, our revenues have gone up, and so this is a positive trend. And again, our debt service has gone down as a percentage of revenues because primarily two reasons. We had an increase in revenue, but also we had a decrease in bond payments. Rolling forward, expenses by category. As mentioned earlier, our salaries are up a little bit, and our debt service is down. Our operating expenses, when you look at it by function, instruction is above where it has been in the past, but that's a positive thing, at least as terms for the accrediting agencies, and everywhere else is pretty stable. Overall financial results, we've had $28 million in revenue, we've had $26 million in expense, and we're $1.7 million to the good. Comparing this to where we are last year, We have increased our change in fund balance by an additional 1.4 million versus where we are last year. Observations, Blinn is in great financial shape. Our cash is healthy. Our revenues are up, specifically state appropriations, tuition and fees, and interest. Right now, interest looks like it will come in almost 100% above what we budgeted. Our bond payments are down. Our expenses are up a relatively small percentage compared to the prior year, but it's going to be under budget. Our auxiliaries, our occupancy is up, and our food service revenues are up. Are there any questions?
Got a question for you,
Yes,
Clint.
ma'am.
So the housing revenue that we show is
P3.
P3 housing, correct?
Correct. P3 is handled. P3 is handled just like the buck books. When the students pay it, it goes into a payable account, and then when it comes time to pay the various vendors, we move it out. It's never shown as a revenue or as an expense on our financial statements.
Okay, and then the miscellaneous revenue, we do receive some funds from Servitas. What do we expect that to be, or what will that be?
We're working through that. That is one of the projects that we'll be working on before the end of the year to reach out to Servitas and come up with exactly what information they need from us and we need from them. They're in the process of closing out their statements for
Is
last
that
year.
an annual then
Yes,
revenue
ma'am. Yes,
distribution?
ma'am.
Okay.
For both the two P3s that we have, we work with Servitas. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
It's on travel, and it's up, I see it's up 57%, and I understand that. Certainly, we're all traveling now as opposed to.
Out of COVID,
Well,
yes,
with
sir.
COVID, but my question or comment, I've heard several faculty members complain about a policy that we have, and I'm going to try to see if I can get this right. If they're a Bryan instructor and they teach their first class in Brenham, they do not get paid travel to Brenham.
Okay.
And vice versa.
I will follow up on that, but IRS rules, now keep in mind, I'm just going to mention a generality and then we can get you a more specific answer. IRS rules is the first place you show up to is your work location. Any place you move afterwards is subject to reimbursement, but it's where you first report in the morning is where you get the
So
reimbursement.
what if that person teaches Monday and Wednesday in Brenham first and Tuesday and Thursday in Bryan first?
The way the IRS rules are written, they would not be reimbursed for either one of those. Their first stop is your work assignment in the day. Any subsequent one is.
So you're saying, so they have to actually go into the office.
They would have to come here, yeah. If somebody wanted to do that, come here first. And then,
Our wonderful faculty that we have, I think that's very unfair. I think we need to even reconsider that.
okay, well, we'll follow up on that policy for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions? All right, y'all. Well, great job on y'all's part, keeping us good development budgets. Dr. Hensley, great job getting us here. And y'all, this staff here is doing us a fantastic job keeping us out of the paper. So,
That is a good thing. Thank you so much. Okay, well, that ends our report section. We're going to move on to item 5, consent items. All items listed in this portion of the agenda are considered to be routine by the Board of Trustees and will be enacted upon one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a trustee so requests, in which event the item will be removed from consent and considered in discussion and possible action. Trustees receive agenda materials in advance of the meeting to prepare for the business to be conducted. We only have one item on the consent agenda, and that is the approval of minutes for October 17th, 2023 regular meeting, and I would entertain a motion to approve.
Motion that we approve.
Trustee Aylert,
Second.
Trustee Wells, all in favor, please say aye. All opposed, consent agenda is passed. Thank you. Now, discussion and possible action items. Authorization to seek proposals for furniture, fixtures, and equipment for the Bryan Administration Building. Dr. Burton, you taking that?
I'm going to introduce Mr. Mark Felhaig to walk us through this process.
You're gonna pull a Cervantes and hand it over.
I learned from the best.
It's a good reference. Thank you. Good morning, Chairman Colhorst, Dr. Hensley, members of the board. I'm here to present to you agenda item 6A, going along with our Bryan Administration Building, just part of our typical process when we do these buildings. This is a request that the board authorize administration to seek proposals for the fixtures, furnituring, and equipment for the administration building there at Bryan. The total budget for this project, and want to walk through this very thoroughly, the total budget for this project is $30.95 million. We authorized a GMP earlier this summer, so that's an encumbered amount. Other than the GMP, we have soft costs. The total budget for that soft cost is $3.77 million. We have encumbered portions of that for architectural fees. There are also some encumbrances for some materials testing services. The remainder of that is going to be the FF&E. We have $1.57 million allocated towards FF&E. There's a small amount of that was put towards some construction services or some construction testing services. But we will, the remainder of that $1.57 million will be the budget for the fixtures, furnishings, and equipment as we move forward. Upon the board's approval, administration will solicit proposals for these from FF&E vendors, furniture, IT equipment, AV equipment, and the like, as well as some graphics. These funds are available from unrestricted cash. And I'll stand for any questions.
Mark,
Yes, ma'am.
your shopping list is long and the
Yes, ma'am.
products are varied. And of course, we will go out to seek the best price and the best value. Will all of those items on the shopping list be competitively billed, or what is the plan of action for that?
So that's going to be varied, and it depends. Typically, our furniture will be an advertised RFP process, which is through our purchasing office. There could be some of the minor items that will be through a state cooperative contract, and those are competitive, but through a different method. And so it's a bit of a nuanced approach, and it really depends on the different items that we look at. The AV items are also typically an RFP process. Again, all of these are competitive, just some different nuances to that approach.
What do you anticipate to be the most costly or most expensive on the item? We've got audio, video, some IT, some
The furniture
Okay.
typically carries the bulk of the cost at this level.
Do we have any expectations of or materials or products, what we have readily available at this point? I know just because of the COVID and the supply chain, we've had some issues getting some things in, but anything that would be difficult to get or long waiting list or anything like
We
that?
continue to work through that. We're approaching some of those conversations with our AV designers. There could still be some elements out there. Technology is very difficult right now. And what we typically do, if we find some roadblocks, we look for alternatives that might be more readily available. We work very regularly with the academic technology department to work through those issues.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? I would entertain a motion to give the administration authorization to seek proposals for furniture, fixtures, and equipment for the Bryan Administration Building.
So move.
Trustee Mosier,
A second.
Trustee Krausen, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. It does not appear that we are going to have an executive session today. So this is a very brisk Blinn board meeting this morning. I'm not used to this. But I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
I move for adjournment.
Trustee Wells, Trustee Aylert, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, at
All-time
10:39.
record.
I shouldn't have gotten dressed up.
You could have came in your pajamas.